Hi guys, I'm Dave from York Campervans. Behind us is Thor, our long wheelbase crafter. I'll give you a brief rundown of its features and its spec. If you're thinking of having a crafter conversion done, then do get in touch. And for those who are going to hire Thor, there'll be a more in-depth tutorial a little bit later in the video. So the great thing about Thor is it's a completely off-grid campervan. So what that means is we don't need hookup, we don't need gas, and we have a large water tank so we can take quite a bit of water with us when we go camping. Thor has a large lithium battery. It's 280 amp hours, 24 volts, 6.7 kilowatts of power. So quite a lot of power, a lot more than what you'd normally have in a camper van. Paired with its inverter, it runs everything in the van. Induction hobs, we have an air fryer, oven and microwave, 12 volt fridge, LED strip lighting throughout, Victron monitoring screen, full switch panel, diesel heater, an electric water heater. Mains plugs will also work all the time thanks to the battery and inverter combo. So starting with the front, the cab area, we've got this lovely tan coloured Bentley stitch custom upholstery seating. So we've got 5 seats, we've got a 2 and a 1 in the front, and all 3 seats rotate round, so it provides a nice large seating area for 5 people, which can stay set up the whole time you're camping. We have a fold-away table here, plug sockets underneath, overhead storage compartments, RV sink with foldable tap, bathroom with a Thetford cassette toilet and household shower, large fixed bed with a yacht ladder to get up to the top. In the rear we have a large garage area where you can fit up to 4 bikes inside. The other great thing about Thor is it's a 5-berth camper van. So we have a fixed bed at the back. We have the ATEC pop top, which is a huge pop top with a proper mattress up there, so it's really comfy. And we also have the rock and roll bed, 5 seats and a 5-berth camper van. So great for larger families. Okay guys, so imagine you've just pulled up at the campsite. So one of the first things you're probably going to want to do is swivel the front seats round, so it gives you a much bigger seating area. Let's have a look how we do that. In order to swivel the seats, put it in first gear, like that, and drop the handbrake. Next, we'll take out the 2 headrests of the double seat. So we have 6 securing bolts to undo before we can swivel the double. So there's 4 in the back and 2 in the front. Then we can lift up the cushions. We then pull the handle up in the middle, which lifts the seat up. We can now rotate round. Easy as that. Now we hold it here in the 90-degree position, and then we move on to the front seat. Okay, so to do the front seat, recommend pumping up. Just helps the plastics clear when you rotate. And there's a little catch on the side. Pull that back and it'll start to rotate. And once you get to where the steering wheel is, slide it forward. There you go. So now we've got the front seat spun around 180. We can now go back to the double and rotate this the rest of the way. Now we've spun it round to its camping position. We'll now lower it the same way that we hired it. So we lift up the cushions and we put the handle back down. Okay, so now we've got the seats spun round. I suppose the last thing that I would do is just move the driver's seat back a little bit. And there you go. We've now got seating for 5 here in the cab area. So one of the features of Thor is the ATEC pop top. So you can sleep 2 people up there. So to put the pop top up, we release the buckles and take off the tie downs. We loosen the black, longer storm straps, and then we can just push the roof up and the gas struts will then do the rest of the work. Okay, so if you're wondering how we get up to the top there in the pop top, we do have a telescopic ladder. But that will go from here to down here, so we need to now remove the table. There's 2 little clips inside of the table. Once they're off, it'll just lift off. And then there's a button on the leg. there's a spot for the table just behind the double seat here, and a little clip just to secure it in place. Okay, so pull the ladder out, just make sure the black clips fully engage as you're pulling out the ladder. Just check them all, and then you're good to go. Up in the pop top, we've got 2 USBs and a dimmable touch LED light. Okay, so we have the fixed bed at the back. We've got the pop top roof bed, and this is the 3rd bed right here, which is a bit more like a traditional rock and roll type of bed. So I'll just show you how to do that. We loosen the catch there, the front pulls out, and then this back cushion comes off. Fills in the gap, and you now have a nice full-size bed. An added feature of this bed is a nice big storage area underneath, so feel free to use it. Just make sure you don't block the diesel heater on the side there. To get up into the fixed bed, there's this handy yacht ladder, which just folds down like that. If you need to get into the fridge, you can just slide it back. Okay, so in the kitchen area, we have 2 induction hobs, sink and tap here, and the microwave, oven and air fryer, 3-in-1 there, and the 12-volt fridge below. So to get the hobs working, we'll first need to turn on the inverter. We would normally give you the van with this already on, but just in case it isn't, I'll just show you how we do this. You tap the screen. There's a little 2 oblongs in the corner there for the settings. And go to mode, and we select on, and then set. You should hear the microwave come on. There you go. And you know the inverter's on, and we can now use the 2 30-volt system. There's also a mains plug just here in the cupboard. This may be off. If the hobs aren't working, it's worth checking. So here we have the sink. You put the chopping board, or move it out of the way, which you prefer. There's the tap. So to use the sink, you first have to build up some water pressure, so make sure you've got some water in the van, and then you switch on the pump. So on here we have different lighting options. Lights 2 does all the lights under the units, which also have their own individual switches. So when going to bed, it's a good idea to switch everything off except lights 2, and then switch them off as you work your way back to the bedroom, and then it leaves you having a bedside light. We have 4 switches for lights. We have the WC vent, which is the extractor fan in the bathroom, the WC light, the water pump, the fridge, the rear vent, which is known as a max fan, which is electric ventilation fan, and the outlight. 2 mains plugs here with caps on, 2 USB sockets and a 12-volt socket. So here we have the Victron Serbo screen. It has our battery level, which is currently at 95%. This will charge when on hookup, when the sun's out via the solar panel, and when we're driving. Underneath that is the fresh water tank. You can see we've got 0% at the moment, as there's no water in the vehicle. This, we're actually currently inside, so we're not making any solar, but this will display what our solar charge is. And this 50 watts here is the amount of wattage we're currently using at the moment. On other screens, it just gives you a bit more info. So we're actually using 6.5 amps at the moment. We've got all the lights on for the purpose of this video. We can see the water levels are empty, and we've got no alerts, so everything's running as it should. So to use the diesel heater, you just press it once to wake it up. You press it once to select heating. Then when it gets to the modes pages, you go to thermostat mode, press again. You then choose the temperature you want. So I'm going to go for 18 degrees and the time you want. So we tend to do it on the figure of 8 sign, which is the infinity sign, which means it'll just keep running until we switch it off. So that'll run all night long. And there we go, that's it. To switch the heater off, you just press the button to wake it up, and then you toggle to off and press again. In terms of what's in the van, in these cupboards and drawers here, you'll find cutlery, utensils, cookware, cups, cleaning products. In the big cupboard at the back here, we've got a kettle, an induction pan set, a Bluetooth speaker, mini hoover, and a toaster. There's also a bin, a small bin, and some blue roll there if you have any spillages. Okay, to use the toilet, you lift up the lid and open the hatch, and then there's an electric flush button here on the side. That'll pump a little bit of water around. Just wait sort of 10-20 seconds till that's all run down and into the waste tank, and then close it back up. It's important that you don't let liquids sit on top of the lid there, because they will make their way around the tank and leak out into the galley floor. The shower works just like a normal household shower. You just need to turn on the isolation taps in the rear water cupboard. To empty the toilet's waste tank, you just press the 2 buttons in and then the hatch will open. And then you pull this little lever up here, little blue lever, and then the waste cartridge will just lift out, like so. Okay, for those not familiar with campervan toilet cartridges, so this is what they look like. So to empty, we would use this bit. We'd undo the blue lid there, and we'd go to the waste area on the campsite, and we'd pour that down. By holding your finger on the blue button, it'll allow the air to run in so it empties the waste quicker. So once you've done that, you would then there's usually a cold water hose, so you can rinse your waste tank out. So you do that, slosh it around a bit, and then rinse it out again. And then once you've got it to that point, you put about 1 litre of water, fresh water, back in, and then the correct amount of blue toilet chemicals back in, and then it's ready to go to insert back into the van. So in the back here, you'll find this large waste tank on wheels. The outlet is just on the offside. There's a little flexi pipe in the lower cupboard there, which you can put in to go straight into this and take your waste over to the waste area on the campsite. Just wheel it over to the waste outlet, which is just here, attached. And there you go. To put water in the van, it's just this hatch here on this inlet on the offside. So take this out. There's a hose in the lower cupboard in the rear garage area. So connect that up on the campsite and then fill directly here. When full, the overflow pipe is around this area, so you will see a little trickle coming out. That lets you know that the tank's full, but it will also say 100% on the monitor screen as well. In the little cupboard here, you have the hookup cable. You also have the hose pipe and a few other bits and bobs that you may need when camping, like the waste flexi hose. We also provide a couple of camping chairs, camping table, a little step to help you get in and out of the van. If you want to use the hot water tank, there's just a switch here. And then you'll see the tank's coming on. It's currently at 11, but that'll warm up to 60 plus, and then it'll go green when it's fully warm. Once warm, the hot water will stay warm for around 24 hours. So it's a top tip is heating it up on your way to the campsite, and then you're not actually using much power because it's actually charging as you're driving. And then you've got hot water on the campsite. If you plan on using the shower, there are 2 valves here which you'll just need to turn on for the hot and the cold water. We leave these off generally and just put them on when we're going to use the shower. Also, it's worth remembering in this large garage area, there's also a little LED strip light just up here. If it's quite hot and you need some ventilation, we have a max air fan on the roof. Just switch it on the switch panel, and then there's a remote control to set the temperature and the level of ventilation you require. And this large cupboard here is all our electric running gear, all our Victron equipment. In the unlikely event that something stopped working, you will find 4 fuse boxes in here, so 2 mains fuse boxes and 2 smaller blade fuse boxes. So now we're going to bring the pop top down. We just turn off the light that's up there if it's on. So that's off. So we have these longer black straps which allow you to pull it down without having to climb up there. And just pull these, get it to about 1 foot off the roof of the van, and at that point you can then roll in the canvas. And then come down the rest of the way. We'll then do the reverse of what we did before. We put the clips back on and tighten up the secondary straps. Just tuck the excess into the side. So in the van you'll find this external blind. It covers all 3 of the cab windows, so the 2 side ones and the windscreen. It goes on over the doors externally, so you shut the doors on it. You can put the windscreen wipers over it as well to stop it blowing off. Filling up with diesel is on this side, the passenger side. You just open the door, lift up the hatch. A diesel and AdBlue is there. So that brings us to the end of this tutorial video. We hope you found it helpful. If you need any more information, feel free to email info@yorkcampervans.com. If you've yet to place a booking, you'll also find availability and info at yorkcampervans.com. Thanks for watching.